What's up, guys? Welcome to Turtleneck Tabletalk. I'm your host, Austin, and this is Devin, and we got a very special guest.
Yes, we are super excited about our guest today. She is, without a doubt, one of the best dancers in Wichita.
Ooh.
She is a business owner,
Ooh.
and she's a pretty all right person.
Ooh.
We got Renee Huber here today.
Hi.
Welcome on. Yeah.
Best dancer in Wichita?
One of them.
There you go. There
just
it
trying
is.
to, yeah,
There it is. Okay.
Thanks for correcting me.
You're welcome.
You're going to do a lot of that during
I
this.
will definitely.
So how are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm tired, but I'm good.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Why are you tired? Like,
Because I work all the time. I dance all the time, but
That's good.
I don't get enough sleep.
Oh, okay.
So
Bummer.
we're working on that.
Yeah.
We are.
Yeah.
We are.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
good. Get on a podcast to work on things. That's good. That's
What?
good. Get on your podcast, talk about the things you're working on.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
that's what
like
we're going to do.
sleeping.
That's what we
Yeah.
are all about.
So this is actually therapy.
Yes.
Awesome.
You didn't know.
Oh, no.
You didn't know. But
Yeah.
speaking of therapy and whatnot, I'm just super excited to have you here because we've joked about it. And I don't know if I actually even told you, Austin, or
Yeah.
a lot of people who even know, both of us know. But I kind of through college and even as your adult life was kind of like your dance mom, self-proclaimed that I made dance mom. And I kind of like,
Yeah.
when I think about it now, at the time, I thought that it was completely normal. But looking back at it, it was like pretty crazy stuff that I would have Renee do and just everything. Just some of the cliches that you can think about, like I would always tell Renee, like, oh, you can get that leg higher, you can jump higher, like be like that. But out in public, I'm like, oh, she's the best dancer. Nobody's better than her. She's amazing. Making her go to auditions.
I see.
I drove her to Kansas City and made her audition.
Oh my gosh.
Me and Aaron.
Yeah.
go.
I dropped them off, went shopping, went to the Nike outlet and stuff like that. And I think that it wasn't that great of an audition experience, actually.
No, it was terrible. Well, actually, it was really good, and then it wasn't. It was one of those things. No, it was just it was the type of audition.
Type of thing. Yeah, which we'll come back to. Making
Okay.
you, after we would do training sessions, I
Yeah.
would make her do improv. Like she's tired. We just had a big workout, and then I would be like, "Hey, surprise! We're going to the dance studio, and you're gonna dance, and like you're gonna make me feel something. Like I want to feel that emotion and all this stuff. Like I did crazy
That's
stuff
why I'm
like
so
that
tired.
all the
I
time.
see.
Yes,
I see. It's just an emotional drainage
You drained
whenever
me.
Devin's in the room for
It
you.
really
Okay.
I was getting her
is.
prepared.
I see.
So now she's here and she can deal with it because she's dealt with all the stuff and she can deal with crazy dance moms and everything like that. So
Yeah, I believe that's a huge aspect of what you're
Yeah.
running now.
Yes.
But
yeah.
we'll also get into that.
Yeah. But so I guess
get
kind of
started.
starting from the beginning, were you just one of those like cliche that just started dancing right out of the womb pretty much? Or
Yeah,
You
100%. I was 3 years old, got put in dance, and then didn't stop. That was it.
and where you like are not originally from Wichita, correct? Like where are you from?
I'm from Detroit, Michigan. Well, Waterford, but and then I moved to Atlanta, Georgia, and then I came to Wichita 7th grade. So most of my life was here. So,
Okay.
Yeah, most of my dancing, I'd say, but I hated dancing here. That's honest.
Really?
Yeah.
Why was
hated-
that?
Oh gosh, here we go.
Yeah.
I mean, coming from like the different cultures of dancing, like you had Detroit, and then that was wonderful. I don't remember a whole lot. Georgia was the best experience I've ever had in dance. And then like I had the best teachers, the best studios, friends, all of it was super great. And it was actually so traumatic when I left because it was the middle of the year kind of thing. And my parents were like, we're moving. You don't get to compete. You don't get to dance for the rest of the year. And I was a mess. Like moved to Wichita. I was like, I'm never dancing again. They stuck me in the studio and like they shunned me because I wasn't like their brand. It was crazy. And I was like, I'm not doing this. So I was studio hopped for a little bit trying to figure it out. And funny thing, I ended up back at the first studio for the rest of my high school.
Why do you feel like you were shunned?
I feel like I came in with, I was okay. I was pretty good. Like probably could have been one of their top dancers, you know? But I wasn't like trained the way that they had trained. So it was just different and they didn't know what to do with me. And then it was just harder. I mean, at middle school. I mean, we all remember middle school, right? We don't really like to remember middle school. But that age is hard, and making new friends and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then like I came in probably thinking I was hot shit. Can I cuss?
I mean, you already did. So I mean,
I said
did it now.
shoot. I said shoot.
Yeah.
I'm not going to. I promise.
There we go.
But like it was just hard walking in, feeling like you're really good, and you probably are. But then the studio's like, no, you're not, and you're like, oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Yeah. How'd that take you on like the rest of your journey through,
Oh, I had to be
let's
the
say
best.
college right now?
Oh, I always now. I mean, I've been competitive my whole life, just as a
Yeah.
person, like as a human. Like I always had to be the best, and that just made it worse because I was like, I'm gonna prove to them, like I am the best one that you've got,
Yeah.
And then I went into college, and I mean, I walked into college, and I was not the best. Like,
And kind of speaking of which, what made you choose to stay like in Wichita in particular? Like, why didn't you go to like another school, or you could have possibly have even tried to like go to New York or like or anything like that? Like what
confidence.
confidence?
My confidence was awful because of that, though. Like, you're told you're not good enough for so long. Like, well, I'm definitely not going to be good enough. I was never given those extra opportunities that some other kids at the studio were given. Like, so I was like, well, I'm probably not that good. I knew I loved dancing, and I knew I was good, and I wanted to have like a future in it. But I stayed in Wichita because I actually didn't start as a dance major. I was going into accounting.
Oh, really? Wow. So what influenced that?
My mom went in and changed it without telling me, and then and she was like, actually, you're gonna be a dance major, and I said, we're gonna try it. Okay.
Oh, wow. So you were going to be an accountant.
Yeah.
Your mom snuck into the little My WSU portal.
Yeah. She went ahead and was like, actually, you're going to audition, and we're going to see if you make it, and we'll go from there. I was like,
Oh, wow.
okay. So I did, and I got in to the program, and I said, okay, we'll do this.
You was one of the stars of the program too, which you
that's
talk
not.
about some. Well, I'm gonna say that because
Okay.
I'm your dance mom, so of course I'm always gonna. And we're in public, so I have to,
Father mommy.
give you.
We're not. Well, yeah, we are.
Yeah, so I have to always
Forget
praise you in
about that.
public. That's behind the scenes.
Yeah, but behind
just
the
kidding.
scenes.
Just kidding. But can you kind of talk about your experience at Wichita State with the dance department? And because you got to also travel out of the country, and you also got to go to New York and do some stuff and for some special projects and whatnot. So can you kind of tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So just like the traveling aspect of it, and like my opportunities that I was given.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, well, once I got my crap together, and I
Which
started,
was a process.
Which was a process. It was after freshman year. Sophomore year, I was like in it to win it. Do you remember that? Like, I was solid.
You were pretty, yeah. Because
was
I remember
solid.
you were pretty flaky when I first met you.
Yeah,
and then you kind of got it together. Yeah.
I got it together because I wanted to be the best.
And
all
flaky
of a sudden.
is a nice way of putting it, but yes.
Anyway, so sophomore year, I got it together, and I was in the studio, and I was, they started rewarding me with that and giving me those.
The opportunities that didn't come earlier.
Yeah.
Okay.
To be the star.
Well, like, they're that big Giselle piece. Like, I was the main person. Like, I started getting those things, and
Which can you tell, like, for instance, like Austin, who, is not as cultured as we are. Can you tell us about, because that's a very unique piece, and just the timing that you had to put into it and all that stuff, and even
And the
some of the
injury
things
that
you
I'm
had to work through. Yes.
working through right now.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about that.
So basically, this piece was a 24-minute piece, and I was on stage the entire time.
Wow.
And I mean, the amount of work my body had to go through to get through that piece. I mean, the training behind it and everything was just extensive. I mean, our professor at the time, Chayla, who I adore, and I think she is probably one of the reasons why I got it together. I mean, she was like, "You're gonna do this," and I don't know, she was hardcore, but I mean, we were in the studio 2 to 3 hours almost every day. working on other pieces too at the same time. So we would get to 2 hours on this piece, but we were going the whole time. Like she was one of those, like, you're not going to get a water break unless you were not working on your section. Well, my section was the whole thing. So I was in it the whole time, you know? And I had a lot of, what was it? Just like my body hurt the entire time. I had like a foot injury the whole time. That was the first time, and now I'm still trying to recover from it, still to this day.
Wasn't it like a broken foot or like a toe or like something?
It was
like
fractured.
Fractured, yeah.
It was fractured, and then but I still danced. I just wore tennis shoes for a while. I wore a boot whenever I wasn't dancing, but I was always in rehearsal.
Wow,
That was fun. No, it was not, but it was a really good experience, and now I kind of treat my kids like that, which is a good thing and a bad thing.
Yeah.
yeah.
Because I don't really have sympathy because I'm like, well, I did it on a broken foot. And
Why
I mean,
can't you guys do that?
why can't you do it?
I'm gonna
your
break
toes
your
broken?
foot. Check out how it feels. Get over. Get in the back room.
Yeah, it's fine. But
Yeah.
it was a good time. And then with that, I mean, that went really well. Started getting solos. Took those to Mexico. We went to Mexico.
Oh, wow.
With Chayla, I went to New York and got to study with some of those famous studios there, like Broadway Dance Center and Alvin Ailey.
Mm-hmm.
But then that was also a thing where I realized this might not be the route I want to go because I don't think I'll ever be that type. I don't know. It was tough.
It's very tough, and it's like something that I've like talked to people about. Like it's one thing to be, and I always call it like Wichita good or Wichita great and stuff.
Yeah.
It's one thing to be super good in like a small community, but then when you go into these bigger spaces where you have a lot of more competition and a lot of it's
when
really
everyone's
hard
in it for the
whole,
same,
and they're like going
they're all
after the
there.
same thing. It is pretty overwhelming, and it is really hard to keep your confidence and to have faith in your abilities in yourself when you are constantly comparing yourself to others. And there's so many people, it seems like, with so little like positions and openings and different things like that. So
yeah, and that's probably why the dance world is so, I don't know, will just can destroy you easily because you are constantly comparing yourselves to others.
Yeah. So you didn't choose to go the route of like dancing and plays, musicals, whatever it is, and you chose to
Have you heard my singing voice?
The singing voice? Well,
Do you wanna hear
you
it?
don't. Yeah, go. You got
Just
it on
kidding.
here. You got a mic.
Nope.
You got a mic
We're
right
not
in
gonna
front of you.
expose
If you want to
everybody
go
to that.
there.
about to say, yeah, like you're putting it out there like you want to do it.
No.
I mean,
There's a lot of people who don't sing in musicals that dance. Is that is that a fact?
yeah,
But I
that
like to be
is.
the
Yeah.
star.
And she's like, yeah. she's
So
not gonna-
you decided to make your own business, and when was that? How was
With
that
my
whole
whole
process?
name.
Yeah.
My name.
yeah.
How was
Oh,
that whole
gosh.
process for you?
How is it? Or how
Can you
was
just
was
it?
like how did
Leading
you
up
get to
to.
that point? Yeah, like what made you decide to start a dance studio?
It was a dream of mine for however long I can remember. I had a small dream of performing, and I was like, that's not going to happen. So I started teaching right out of high school, and I just fell in love with it. I knew I wanted to choreograph. I knew I loved teaching, through high school doing dance team. I wasn't captain, like we didn't have captains, but I loved being the leader.
But you pretty much were the captain.
We're not going to say that,
But you were.
but I was.
Yes.
Just kidding. But I enjoyed like the choreography aspect and like cleaning it and helping. So I loved being the leader. I knew that. And then got into the teaching thing. That was great. Kept teaching. Ended up being a middle school teacher for a little bit and developed a dance program in that middle school here in Wichita.
Ooh, yeah. I remember that. That
was wild.
Experience.
That was wild. They don't have the dance program anymore. They cut it out. I'm sad. Anyway. So, love teaching. Then randomly I get a phone call from this studio owner in Salina, Kansas.
Okay.
And I had taught for her. I was guest teaching for her like when I was 18. So I was teaching kids that were 17, 16 at the age of 18. She was letting me come in and teach them like their competition dances and things like that. So I worked for her quite a bit, stopped for a while, and then I get a call from her and she's like, hey, I'm trying to sell my studio. Do you want it? And I was like, yeah, I kind of do. But that would mean, I'm married at this point and I have a job, like everything's going pretty smoothly. This would mean I'm picking everything up and I'm moving to Salina, Kansas.
Big risk.
Yeah.
So,
Big ol' risk.
yeah, we did it. And it was a trip.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you.
Do it. Tell us.
Yeah.
It was a trip. Well, the previous studio owner, I didn't know a whole lot about. I just, knew of her and worked with her. And there were a lot of pieces of her that I didn't know about that kind of made this experience not so great. But I don't know how deep I want to get into this. You want the juice?
We want the juice.
You want the juice?
We want the juice.
I'm just kidding. We shouldn't get into the juice too much.
Just give us a little squeeze.
Ew. Okay. Let's see. Where do I start though? Ask me a question.
So, okay, you
This is your
are
interview
figuring
now.
out. So you're figuring out. You got this opportunity. You don't have much of a business background per se. Like you didn't
Not at all.
necessarily go to school.
I didn't go to accounting.
You didn't do. Yeah,
Yeah.
you didn't get to accounting
Thanks,
and
Mom.
anything like that.
Thanks, Mom. Yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah.
you're taking on this responsibility. You decide to go and purchase it and whatnot.
We started. It's small. There's a lot of information. So Salina is actually saturated in dance studios at this time. Like Salina's not huge, right?
Yeah.
But there's like 4 maybe studios
Yeah,
total.
I did not know. Yeah, that's quite a few for
That's
that
a lot
market.
for a
Yeah,
small town.
small town like that.
Luckily, like each studio kind of had their own thing, except for like these 2 that were kind of competing against each other. And I bought one of them. And so like in my head, I'm this like kid just wanting to come in and teach kids how to dance. That's all I wanted to do. And little did I know that there was like all of this extra drama going on. Like this studio hates this studio and we're actually going to come bring this other owner in, but she wanted to basically run it, but have another name on it. Does that make sense? So she was in my ear all the time trying to get me to make things happen a certain way, the way that she still wanted it to happen. But I wanted to, it's my name.
You wanted
Yeah.
to take complete ownership, but she's trying to basically just have you be the face of it, but still trying to tell you things that you need to do type of thing.
Yeah. And so there's a lot of points where she would get into like talking to the parents first and having the parents get upset to come say something to me that they didn't like something. Like it was like a full dance mom's like time. It was gross. So I had parents that didn't trust me anymore. And if the parents don't trust you, you don't get paid.
Yeah.
And then when my job, like you don't teach dance to like, you don't start doing something like this or teach kids in general to be like mean or evil to other people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like
It just happens.
it just happens, you just end up being evil. It's fine. But there was a lot of fights like between me and not fights, like not physical. I'm
Yeah.
getting physical, just a lot of internal battles, like how do I handle this situation? Because I'd never done it before. And these moms like they started off really sweet and like supportive. And they wanted me to feel included or in the community and all this stuff. Well, when something happened that was different from the past, then it became drama behind the scenes. And I would be the last one to find out about it, but the one that had to deal with it. So the kids were fine at first. They all liked me. I also think the previous owner didn't like that because now they like me and not her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not that they didn't like her. They didn't have to not like her. Anyway, so there was just a lot of sketchy stuff, like with parents not paying money and then
Yeah.
kids
that
coming
type
to
of
dance.
There's a lot of challenges with that. I feel
Stoned
that go
and-
way beyond
Oh, yeah.
just the onlookers' perspective. But for our perspective, we see that you are doing really cool stuff with them. You're getting to do all sorts of different routines, and I wonder if we could take a look into that and see like some of the cool things that you're doing with your studio, and like what are the kids getting to get out of your experience, the Renee Dance Academy experience. Thank you.
Well, now that I don't have the Salina location, because we shut that one down real fast, so now I only have McPherson, because I got both locations when I bought the business. McPherson, I mean, these kids, so I'm a very competitive dancer. I was competitive, so my studio's got the recreational thing and the competition side. And so the competition side was kind of how it started. Before I had rec, I had more competition kids. And these kids get to travel, and I mean, they're training 2 to 3 days a week right now, and for 2 to 3 hours a day. And then we travel and compete, and the kids love it. I mean, that's the whole part of it. For me, it's the fact that these kids are enjoying it and having fun, and they want to do it. It shouldn't be something that they hate and like eventually just quit or get burnt out with. I get it. We all get burnt out about, things. But yeah, we get to go to nationals this year.
Okay.
So I think I'm going to take them. Well, I haven't decided yet. Last time we went a year ago, and we went to Branson. Okay. Yeah. All of our other competitions are pretty local.
And
we'll go to Kansas City this year,
Can you kind of like break down like what is all entails into like a competition for somebody who doesn't know much about the dance world and stuff like that? Like they hear like competition and they hear this stuff, but like what does that actually mean? And going to nationals, like what does that actually mean?
So the competition team will put together however many dances we can, like with our groups. Like with our team, we'll probably have about 18 dances total this year, I think, with just my studio, because I have another one here in Wichita. So we'll put together these dances. There's groups, and then we got solos, and then we got duos and trios. I mean, and they're all rehearsing these every week. Then we'll go out of town, staying local in Wichita. These competitions, like some of them are called Star Power. That one's one of my favorites, though. Star Power. We've got Believe. We've got Imagine. I mean, these names though are hilarious.
Inspired, yes.
Yeah. The Dance Effect.
Whoa.
Ooh, I know. Revolution. Yeah, right. Don't you want to compete now?
Yeah.
Just
Get
the
up
name, you're like,
move your body.
Some of them are hilarious though. But anyway, so we'll go to one of these, and these are like, for me, they're 3 days, and I'm there from 7 to maybe 11 or midnight.
Wow.
It's insane. And for the kids, they come 2 hours before their scheduled time to compete. They compete once, and then they go to an award ceremony, and they get adjudicated. So, and this is my favorite part too, you get every competition is different. They name them all different, but most common are gold, I don't even think anyone's really getting bronze anymore. Gold, high gold, platinum, double platinum.
Oh my goodness.
Some are like sugar star, sparkle, trophy.
Wow. That's awesome. That's awesome.
But they love it. They love it.
Keeps them going. Keeps them motivated.
Yeah. It's so much fun.
This participation trophy culture. What is this?
Yeah.
Golly, man.
That's what we're getting when we get adjudicated. Here you go. But then you get first, second, fourth. I mean, we go up to like 10th place sometime. I'm like, all right, let's just do first, second, third and move on. Because these award ceremonies can be like an hour, hour and a half, and you're sitting there. I mean, I feel bad for the parents at that point.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, can we move on?
Ooh.
But yeah, and then at the end of the day, they take home the trophies, and then we do another one. And then we get critiques too, which we really like. Although sometimes they're not great.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you go get critiqued by something or someone, you want to like give it to me. You don't want to be told sometimes like, don't look at me like that. because I hate when you critique me. And you critique me all the time.
I do, yes.
I walked in here and you said, oof. And I said, yeah. Sorry. But we'll get critiques back so the kids can actually listen to feedback, which is really great.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're not great. Sometimes they're like, that was awesome. And we're like, no, it wasn't. Don't tell them that. Now they believe it.
Oh, jeez.
And we're like, no, hit them hard. Like, point your dang toes. They need to hear that over and over again. Because it's like mom. When mom says it,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. But when someone else says it, oh, now we're going to point our toes. I'm like, great.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So competitions are fun. I love them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Gotta point your toes. I'll remember that.
Just
that's,
point your toes. When
That's something I didn't know as a non-dancer.
straighten your legs, point your toes,
Straighten your legs, point your toes,
smile.
smile.
Sometimes get a little sassy face.
Oh, I didn't. That's not in my arsenal yet, but
It will be.
Put it there.
it's gonna be in my bag
when we do
now.
our
Yeah.
Put it there.
Put it in my grocery
We're gonna
bag.
teach you how to
When we get
pirouette.
when we get our duo ready for competition. To get to
Oh, we
nationals,
need to
we'll
do it,
be-
yes,
yes,
dude.
yes.
Yeah. So there's some hesitancy there. What's that all about?
Oh, we're gonna do an audition first.
Audition
Okay.
first.
Yeah.
I mean,
This
I
is the
figure
process.
we-
These kids have to audition. You have
You
to
want
audition.
us to go through it, even though we pretty much already secured the spot. You just want to. Cause I get it. Yes, I'm on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
Yes.
Are we on the same wavelength here?
Yeah. I'm sure we are. We always are.
Okay.
But
well,
yeah. So you so your McPherson location has really
Grown.
blown
I
out.
started
Can-
with like 20, 30 kids total. I don't know if I'm allowed to say how many I have now, but this year I've tripled numbers
wow.
in just 3 years.
wow.
It has.
Congrats.
Thank
Way to
you.
go. Way to go.
And you ran out the competition, which I'm very proud about.
Yeah, I kind of by default, but
yeah,
we're not going to
but
say that. I think the studio is actually really, really great. I've hired, I have a receptionist now, so she does a lot for me. She's fantastic. Shout out to Amber. She'll listen to this. I'm sure she will. And then I hired 5 teachers. And then I just hired a new one, so now I have 6.
Nice.
And
Nice.
7 including
Way to
me.
go.
Yes. So
There you go.
do you think that your experience, I don't want to necessarily say failure because that's, a little harsh.
No,
with
it's
the
totally
Salina,
accurate. No, I failed.
But do you think that like, how were you able to overcome that? Because it sounds like you, with the McPherson, like, is doing great. And then you are working with a dance studio here in town and really doing a lot of stuff in Wichita and doing a lot of great things. So kind of how was that experience with like accepting that and then being able to try and move on for that and then not let it keep you too down or like to that in like I said, your McPherson location is doing great. Like
Yeah, for a small town like that, I mean, it's thriving. Honestly, I'm still recovering from it. It's like a huge confidence thing. It really, like, going through all of that, I felt like I got beat up by like parents and adults. Like,
Right.
I mean, the kids became nasty in a sense too, but that's because they had
you're
something
feeding off
else.
the energy of,
Yeah, I mean, you're going to listen to your parents first before a stranger. You had me for 2 years, obviously, and that's fair. But like, you just don't treat people a certain way. You don't. When someone's just trying to come in and do something good for others. But I become the bad guy. That's what I've realized as an owner. I'm never the good guy. I'm always the bad guy. That was my hardest thing to overcome. But once I did, I became a boss in McPherson. Like, I started saying no, and I started really sticking to my guns, and I started seeing a change, and I started growing, and people started trusting me, and that was huge. So that's kind of, I mean, like I said, I'm still working through it because there's a lot of things where I'm like, oh God, this is like PTSD. Like, if a parent comes at me with something that sounds similar, but now I know how to handle it. It's just like, oh, I need to sit back. I need to like think through this and not react. It's going to be okay. But now yeah.
because it's parents
I don't
be well.
even-
And the sad thing is as they're doing it, they don't realize necessarily how crazy that they're being. I'm gonna stand on the side of some of those dance moms. We just don't know. We just have our eyes on the prize.
I mean, it's a real thing.
Yeah.
The dance mom thing is a real thing.
Huh.
But you know what? I don't have well, maybe I have like one or two. But McPherson, like the parents are so great. I don't know what it is.
There you go.
But I'm like,
Nice.
I'm waiting. I'm just waiting for it to crack.
Yeah, I know. You just
I'm like-
you're just like, this is going too well.
trauma-
this can't be this good.
That's
Like,
literally what I say. I'm like, there's something in the air. Something's going to happen. I don't know when it's going to happen, but it's going to. Like, I keep telling myself that because it was so bad for 2 years.
That's
Like, that was like, you come into it and you're thinking, like, this could be okay. And then just boom, 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 boom. And you're like, beat up. And then everything's all of a sudden super great. That doesn't feel right.
Something's on the
Something's
come up
not
here.
right.
Let's see.
This So I had a parent put a whole dance on stage at a competition once without any teacher there. Like they were scheduled to go on. The competitions can run ahead. So they just like they put themselves in a teacher position. They started freaking out and they were like, okay, well, they're supposed to be going on stage. They're next. Okay, well, we'll just put them on there. No. So if a teacher's not there or anything or anyone, you don't just take over as like the teacher, you know? Like you wouldn't step up as a softball coach or baseball coach if the coach isn't there. You would.
I would do that. Like,
You
if
would
it was
wait for the coach though.
I honestly, like back in my heyday with you, I honestly,
No.
I could see myself being like, I don't care what day. Let's
Where's
just
the
get out
teacher
there.
at?
Yeah, let's get. I don't see
I'm
it.
the
Let's
teacher
go.
now.
Yeah,
Not
let's
as
do
a
this.
no. They're
Captain
like
Phillips,
12 years old.
And he said, "I am the captain now." Type of thing.
Okay, you're not letting me prove a point here at all. Okay,
Well,
let's. I'm done.
Yeah, you messed that
I'm
one
done
up,
with
didn't
you.
you?
I'm done
This
with
is the
you.
story of our life.
This is the story of our life.
But you,
He's trying to look back.
I know. I'm trying to bring
You want me
it
to
back.
take
a
it
little
Bring
bit.
it back. You gotta
No.
get serious
Okay,
again.
So you got to. So one of the things that I wanted to make sure we kind of touch base on too a little bit is that you travel and teach choreography for different places and whatnot. Can you kind of talk about how, like, because you like freelance?
Yeah, that's what I say. It's my freelance gigs. So I get hired by a couple high schools and I do some of their state routines or camp routines. And then I go off to, I'll go to Arkansas in September and teach at a studio there and do a couple of their competition pieces. That's probably like one of my favorite things to do though, because it lets me get away from my kids that I see every single day, go see other kids, and then I'm like inspired again.
Ah, nice.
You know?
Yeah.
But because choreography is one of my favorite things, but I don't
Is
know.
it?
It is.
That's because I know that.
And
a lot
teaching
of
first and
people-
second graders. That
young
I don't
That's
know
the
why.
golden
Really?
age.
Like,
First and
that's-
second grade.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, because I can kind of like yell at them, but like
Oh, I wasn't
Can-
expecting that to be the reason, but you know that.
no, because you can start start molding them a little bit more at that age. I don't know. They're just so funny.
Yeah.
They're so funny.
Yeah. Say what's on their
They
mind.
get but then I can say what's on my mind too.
Yeah.
And they're like, huh? And they think it's hilarious. And I'm like,
Yeah.
no, I'm serious. Sit down.
Sit down.
Sit down.
Point your toes.
Point your toes. Your feet
Straighten
are
your
ugly. I can
legs,
start
yeah.
like being a little more blunt with them and they think it's hilarious.
Oh goodness.
I'm like, oh, your feet are disgusting. Try that again. And they're like, okay. It's so funny.
Oh man.
I heard that a time or two.
Your feet are disgusting?
Yeah, from you. When I've
Yeah.
when you've helped me with
your feet
modeling
are
dance
so
stuff. Yeah,
bad.
I know. You are quick to give me the feedback, so it's
Yes. So bad.
Her dogs are out though. If you can see that on camera, I'm not sure. But you are barefoot on your chair. So
I'm always barefoot.
yeah.
If I could have walked in here barefoot, I would have.
Mm.
I walk into the studio barefoot all the time.
Bark, bark. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
choices.
Okay, that is a choice, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, what's your choreography process?
Sorry.
okay.
I wing it.
You wing it.
Yeah, I
Really?
pick a song. I walk into the studio. I should know how many kids. I have, so I'll have like a number, and then I'll walk in, and I won't like do formations or anything until I'm there, and then I'll just start moving around, and I'll say do this, and then they do it.
That is like
That's it.
crazy.
Yeah, I get about 4 hours.
You just walk in there with your vast knowledge of choreography. Okay.
That's
well, there you go.
that's crazy to me.
That
Because
is
your stuff
crazy.
actually like surprisingly looks good too. Like it's
Thank you.
Surprisingly was necessary.
Thanks so much.
Surprisingly, it's pretty good.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of people have to like go in and sketch it all out, and that's totally
That's what I
fine.
would
Everyone has a
assume you would
process.
do, yeah.
yeah.
I never really did that. There was a time where I was super busy and needed to do that, but I have to if I do high school dance teams because of
Okay.
formations and stuff like
type of
that.
stuff.
I was gonna
'Cause that's a
wonder
little more
like
strict.
what inspired that what inspired your knowledge there? Was it like certain films, possibly like Napoleon Dynamite? Did he play a big part in like
No.
your freestyle routines?
No, sir.
No, it wasn't. It
No.
wasn't that specifically. But what was it? Maybe. What
Like,
would you say?
What? Say that again.
It was like what kind of? Is there any like
Is there
pop
any
culture, music, movies that
or
inspired
like
that?
any like choreographers or dancers that were like an
Jazzercise.
inspiration that you know?
Myself.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Just kidding.
But
I
she's
don't.
not.
I
I
am.
think she is. Yeah.
I am. I don't know. I used to watch So You Think You Can Dance a lot. That was my
Okay.
thing. So
Yes.
the choreography, like that part of it, like when they learned it, that was my.
We could spend like a whole nother talking about that show. I made her audition for it. I forgot to.
Three times.
Like literally made
times.
her, filmed her audition, made her like create solos.
I went to Detroit for one. I went to Memphis. I drove all the way to Memphis for one, and then he recorded me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good time.
So you
I
think you
used
can
to-
dance? Is that that's a television
It's a
show?
It's
Stop.
like
He
American
doesn't
Idol.
know.
He's very young. It's like American Idol.
old
except
are
for
you?
dance.
20 years old.
Oh my God.
Yes. I have my whole life ahead of me.
I feel old. That really just made
How old
me
are,
feel
how old
old.
are you again?
29.
And you have your own dance studio though.
I-
So that's like
yeah.
that's crazy.
Is it?
I feel like it's crazy
I feel like it's
because
pretty,
20
especially
Yeah.
like with you knowing you.
no,
It's,
okay.
it's pretty crazy.
It's like
I have like
you're
two
an
different
owner at
personalities.
29 and you get to lead your entire business the way you want to do it, and I think that's super awesome. You know, like
Yeah.
not everyone can
thanks.
say that at 40 or 50. So
You're right. You're right. Well,
yeah,
thank you.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it's fun. I'm ready to retire though. The age of
Tender age
29,
at
I'm
the
done.
tender age
You
of
just-
29.
No,
Man.
you're just getting
shoot.
started. There's
I
some
know.
big things.
I see a
in
lot
the
of
work.
I see a lot of
Yeah.
things happening in the future with studios. So, I know I
Yeah,
got
which
this
you
one here
can't
in
really
Wichita.
talk about, but like
I know.
but
Can't
there's
really
some
talk
things
about.
that are exciting in the work. So
Yeah.
if people want to kind of keep up to date and kind of learn about those things as it's happening, where can they find out more information about you, about your dance studio? Like
Where?
they want to know. Like,
Where?
where?
Where? Online. What do you mean?
Like, can you give us the webs? Like, oh my goodness,
That
do you have
was-
to, like,
oh.
You
walk-
can
like, I
go
don't know
on
how-
Shut the podcast
Facebook.
off.
I know,
jeez. Close it off. Free
you can go
promo.
on my website, or you can go on Facebook, or
What's
you
your
can add me
website
on
like?
Facebook because I post a lot.
What's your website? Like,
What's my website?
yes,
Renee'sDanceAcademy.net.
All right.
.net.
.net. Well, there was a whole thing with the domain the first time, and then we had to like xnay the .com, and then we had to put .net to have a whole new domain. It was wild. I didn't have a website for a year,
Wow.
but we got it figured out.
We did.
And then
.net.
Facebook, Renee's Dance Academy.
Nice.
Dot
Got that
Facebook.
Owned.
Yeah.
Way to go.
Yes. So yeah, follow us and see our little journey.
Maybe you'll make sure and post more now.
I personally, or on like
on the pages.
the
what we
page,
care
I
about. We
post all the
don't-
time.
Yeah.
It's part of the
sure.
job.
Sure.
Okay, but not on my personal. You know that.
No,
And he
we
gets
don't
he
need
gets
to.
so mad at me. He's like, "Why don't you post more?" Like,
Because she needs to be.
I'm a private
highlighting
person.
Her amazing students and all the amazing stuff that she does, and she just doesn't. She doesn't highlight herself enough, and I just
see.
want the world
why would
to
it? It's
see
not about me.
how amazing you are.
It's
So
not about
I'm
me. Although
sorry
my
that I
name
just
is
want
the
people-
business. But what?
Okay.
Are you gonna keep talking?
Well, you keep talking, and here we are.
Oh man. Well, I'm gonna
He's
wrap
like,
it up here. Thank
on
you so
that
much
note.
for coming on.
Yes, thank you so
yeah.
much, Renee. We are so excited, and thank you
Yeah.
for sharing your story.
Yeah.
No, thank
Like I
you.
said, the fact that you were able to overcome some of a failed studio, and now you are thriving.
Yes.
And everything. It's just really exciting to see, and it kind of is an inspiration that sometimes maybe when things don't work out originally as you see it, you can still pick yourself back up and just continue working hard. And it's been so cool to just kind of see your continued growth and to see you kind of really be strong in your will and just kind of bouncing back from this and everything like that. So I'm really excited that you got to share your story and your passion for dance, and people get to see that and see what an amazing dancer and person that you are. So really,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
I hate the compliments, but thank you.
Way to wrap it up with a
I
lesson
know.
as well.
I
There you go.
know.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you again.
Yes.
so much for
Thank you.
coming. Thanks to Shocker Studios.
Yes, thanks Shocker Studios for having us. Make sure and subscribe and tune in next week. We'll have another amazing podcast with another amazing individual as we just continue to highlight all these
Probably the next video.
impactful people in our community.